morning, everybody. Afternoon, wherever you're listening to this. It doesn't matter. This is Christine with Swish and Click. Yay. We love her. She's a photographer, if you couldn't tell by the swish and click.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, are you excited to be here?
I am.
Okay, cool.
Very excited.
What are we going to talk about?
Everything.
Okay, tell us about yourself.
Yeah.
Tell all the people.
What's your story? How did you get into what you're doing?
How far back do you want to go?
Not to the very beginning.
Yeah. not born and raised.
Canada.
Okay.
Well, you can include that. Let's hear it.
So you're from Canada?
Yeah, I am originally from just outside of Toronto.
Okay.
Didn't know that.
Met an American.
Okay.
Moved out here.
Okay.
And then he bought me a camera.
Oh.
And and then I started photographing CrossFit competitions because I was an avid CrossFitter.
Okay.
At the time. Now I just weightlift.
Okay.
But it was a great way to learn speed and faces and framing. And then one of my CrossFit friends asked me to photograph her wedding.
Okay.
And I laughed at her because
you're like, I don't do that.
Girlfriend, I photograph people making poo faces.
Yeah.
Like when they're doing a deep lift,
They're like,
the face.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, it was actually a really great way. It translates scarily well to weddings because when you're watching people's body language in their eyes, I can predict tears and other emotions faster than other people can.
Yeah.
And I've got a really fast fingers, so I'm just like, bam, bam, bam. Got you. You're welcome.
the stories. That's cool.
But you also learn so I would shoot through some of the rings and other things. So I would use framing to make exercise look pretty. And if you death scroll on my Instagram feed at the very bottom, you will find all my CrossFit photos. I never archived them.
I have not death
cool.
scrolled your Instagram yet, so now I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it really pauses because I've had
far.
it since 2000.
It's like, hold on, where are we going?
14.
Wow.
So that's when I started photographing CrossFit stuff.
Very cool.
But then I photographed that wedding, and it
took off.
Incredible. I think I'm a softie at heart. I know that I have this, hard exterior shell like an M&M.
Yeah.
But on the inside, I'm a softie, and it really touched me. Their vows were so beautiful, and just the way they looked at each other, and I was just like, I love this.
Yeah.
This is so tender.
This is better than sweaty boys lifting weights.
I
don't know about that.
Hilarious.
Just kidding. Say less. We're moving on.
Now I'm blushing. Anyways.
How funny. So that was your first wedding. From there, so how did you start to grow your business and get more into the weddings now that you found that spark? Then what happened?
I like to research things.
Okay.
So I bought a book, but I'm more of a visual person, so that was a mistake.
Yeah.
And I think I've only read 10 pages of it, and it's still somewhere. I joined a lot of because back then, 2015, I was on, Facebook was a lot more. It was different. It was a different time.
Yeah.
So I was in Facebook photography groups. I was learning what workshops to take because I was I don't like a lot of my photos. I know that I know that I've got certain framing and stuff, but how I'm taking it and how I'm editing it, I don't like it.
Yeah.
And so I started to do workshops, and I started to try and second shoot. And I'm really lucky. I met this woman named Stacy. And she really she took a chance on me and let me second shoot for her. And she was really truly helped me create the foundation. She introduced me to styled shoots. I'd never heard of them.
Yeah.
Now that's
it's really
all the rage.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Styled shoots because I'm
winning awards or anything. Yeah. Nothing big deal.
I know.
It's pretty great, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So she really helped, and then there was another woman, Melissa, who was getting out of weddings and just let me photograph weddings with her. And one of my favorite connections and favorite people I've ever met, I photographed her wedding. Her name's Sarah, and we're still like very good friends to this day. And I photographed
That's
like their
cool.
1-year anniversary session.
Wow, I love
I've
that.
done their Christmas minis for years. Like I know her children, and like we
Yeah.
just love each other. And I
Yeah.
just,
It's cool.
it's one of my favorite things about weddings is the fact that I get to create these emotional connections with my couples.
You really do,
Yeah,
though.
I do.
Because you're with them, like, a lot and all day on, like, the biggest day of their
Yeah,
life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
cool.
see everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I know things
Everything.
beforehand. Nakedness, I all of it,
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
Because you're getting in your dress, but also grooms. I've had them like they don't realize, so they bless their hearts.
Yeah.
They don't read timelines, and so
No.
they're like
Half naked.
They're passenger princesses on wedding days. Let's
Yes.
just be honest about
Yeah.
it. So he hadn't read truly the timeline. He was fresh out of a shower. It's a hotel.
Oh.
He has the towel around his waist, and I'm like,
Sir,
my exit is over here.
how awkward.
No, I was.
You're like, we're supposed to be taking pictures, and you're like,
Yeah.
you're naked.
Yeah, like basically, there's
Full blown.
There's like, you have not toweled your chest. Like there's moisture. Like I need to
Inappropriate.
exit.
Yeah, you're like, I need to go right now.
Yeah.
I wasn't mentally.
You should have, like, snapped a couple as you were
Because
leaving.
like
Yeah.
the groomsmen were in there, they had let him know that I was in the room.
Yeah.
Maybe something skipped his head, and I was just like,
didn't register.
you know, I'll get just take 5 minutes. I will be back.
Yeah. I'll be back.
Can you put some underwear
Yeah.
on?
Cover the things,
Yes,
please.
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
it
funny.
was very interesting how I was able to take a CrossFit sort of background in
Yeah.
sports and turn it into wedding and framing and
different.
yeah, it's totally different. And
Well-
learning Flash was a lot.
Yeah. Well, I love that too, that you even looked at your own work and you're like, I'm not happy with it. Like, we always talk about like self-talk, like, you know, you want it to be positive and yes,
Yeah.
you can do this and all of that, but you also have to have like a critical, be your own worst critic
Oh.
and be like, you know what, I would not pay for this or
Yeah.
whatever. And then what do I have to do to get better? That
Yeah.
makes all the difference. And it just shows that you are going to continue to have like a cutting edge
Yeah.
on your business
That's
the
what
whole
I
time.
every year I audit my work and I ask myself, what in my work do I feel is my weakest point? And then I look for education for that upcoming year for me to get stronger at it.
Good. See, I love that too because it's so important to continue your education because
For
there's
sure.
all kinds of things that change, right?
Ever-changing,
In any
yeah.
industry, truly.
Yeah.
But looking at making sure that you are always like on point, you know,
Yeah.
like that's so important. It's so
I
important.
really care about what I deliver to people.
Yeah.
So
That's the difference between, like, people who succeed in this and people who don't. It's like that level of care and, like, is it good enough or
yeah.
is it not?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the people, it's fine.
No.
See you in 3
No,
years.
I'm not an
Yeah.
it's fine
You're gonna be at a
person.
9 to 5 in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you're not spending like you reinvest in yourself, I reinvest in myself every year. 10% of whatever I earn goes back into education for myself.
Amazing.
So I plan that out, you
Yep.
know,
Smart.
and that's so important because if you don't spend on your education and getting better, you're going to start withering away. Just like you said, 3 years, you're going to be at that 9 to 5 working for somebody else. Not that there's no shame in that, but
No.
you know,
No.
if you're trying to live the dream and you
Right.
you stunt your own growth, it's just your mindset. You're stunning your own growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
See
you
it a
know,
lot.
Yep.
as you grow in your craft, you get to milestones.
Yes.
And so what would be great education for me when I first started is now something I could teach.
Yep.
And so now the challenge is figuring out where to go to get my education because I'm at a different level.
Yep.
That's the hardest part.
It is because all of the education in the wedding space for photographers
I
is
was talking to
focused
her
on
about
movies.
this not too long ago.
So
Like,
I'm in my first ever mentorship
Where do we go?
right now.
Oh, good.
That's
And
cool.
it's fascinating, and she's really helping us not only like figuring out how to bring more money in, but she's also helping us change our mindset as we grow and elevate.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have a different mindset if you're going to be dealing with people who are going to be spending more money with you than people in the past.
Yeah.
And so you need to bring a different level of white glove service than you were bringing before.
For sure.
100%. And that's what I was actually talking to. She's a mentor of mine, but I said, she was talking about some of her other students and how they just don't get it. You know, and I'm like, oh, well, that's a thing. I said, but I said, I'm used to being around millionaires in the room, you know, and the conversation's different.
So different.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I said, the hardest part is taking somebody in the the beauty industry. So a $50,000 a year earner to $100,000 a year earner, that jump is so hard.
Violent.
Like,
It's violent.
it is. There's a lot of work that has to be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then taking from the $100,000 a year to the $200,000 to the $500,000 to the $1 million, completely different people along the way. You have to become that person. And it's so important to get the mentor, get the education, and always not be satisfied with
Absolutely. I feel like if you're satisfied, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you should always have something in the back of your head saying,
this is
this could be
entrepreneurs
better.
only, because you talk to somebody else, they'll be like, what do you mean? You're not happy? Like, look at what you've created. You're like, well, yeah, but also we have another destination to go to.
Yes,
we hit this one. It's time to keep going.
Yeah.
I'm constantly having epiphanies. Like, this. Like, I did an education retreat in New York 2 summers ago, and it's taken 2 years almost, but I'm finally doing my brand refresh. But I realized I never really knew what kind of photographer I was. I just knew that I wasn't fine art.
Well, yeah.
But I didn't really.
I'm not this.
Yeah.
I don't know what other, I don't know. And then I went to this AMV retreat in New York City, and I met an editorial photographer, and I shot with her throughout the day.
You are
And I realized truly what my niche is, and that is editorial. And people were like, what does that mean? It means, so fine art is usually light and airy, but there's a softness. So it's not super hyper focused. It's just ethereal. And I think it's beautiful, but that's not me. My personality, it's a little spicy.
bold in your
I'm
face.
a little bold,
Hello.
I'm a little direct. I'm an Enneagram 8.
Okay.
Wing 7, so I'm whimsically challenging.
Okay. I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I love that.
So
It's funny.
I like crisp, in focus photos.
Yeah.
I love emotion. I love candid moments because of my CrossFit background.
Yeah.
And I realized during this that this is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's editorial. It's really taking those candid, in focus moments. And I don't mind intentional blur. I understand it.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's popular right now.
It
That'll
really
be
is. I don't understand.
It's only 3% of what you're going to get from me, though, because
Yeah.
that's not how I tell a story of your wedding day. The story is your emotion.
Yeah.
And the emotion of the people around you.
Yeah.
That's what I want to tell. But in a way that's crisp and beautiful. I don't know how else to describe it.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
No, that's, Yep.
So I've been working on curating how to tell that story. And I also
hard.
really love black and white photos, and that's definitely very editorial. And so my new website that's coming
So
out
good.
at some
So
point in
good.
the very near future. No
Yay.
date yet.
I'm excited.
You need to. Oh yeah, you can't.
I can't do anything. I can't share yet. But it's so editorial. It's so sexy. It's exactly what I want to deliver.
Cool.
That's good.
Fucking excited.
Yay! We are too. That's awesome. I can't wait to see it and see
I
your
saw
launch
it.
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
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 So working in the wedding industry and working with vendors, tell me what exactly that you look for. You have it's like a box of chocolates, right? You really never know what you're going to
get. Forrest Gump moment.
It's like that box of chocolates from Walmart that's a big heart. You don't even. It says it on the back, but you just never read
No.
it. You
Yeah.
just pick it up and you're like, this might
I do like that tender bite where I'm like, are you a cherry?
Yeah.
Are you caramel?
Are you coconut? We don't know.
Yeah.
It's so different.
Exactly. Yep. So
I mean,
tell me like what you look for in number one, the vendor themselves, and then number two, what you want as far as like photography and like the looks and full coverage, not full coverage. What is it? So there's two things.
Let's start with hair and makeup.
Yeah.
I like to see that I look at their Instagram.
Okay.
But it's more than just what you post Instagram. It's who you interact with. I look at your comments. I look at who tags you.
Mm-hmm.
I am a mild stalker.
Yeah, you're really good at that.
Who you are connected
She can find
with.
some stuff. I'm like,
Where?
FB.
and if I need anything, I'm just gonna call Christine and be like, "Hey, can you like look this
Oh.
up?" And then 5 minutes later, she's like, and I'm
Yep.
like, "Cool."
Yep. Yep. Just let me get on there.
She's like an AI, but like
ASMR
real.
for
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I really, because if I see you're connected with someone that I've had problems with in the past,
May not.
I will approach you, but I will have my guard up.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to discount you. You have to prove to me that you are untrustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to be let in all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fun, happy gal,
Yeah.
and I can make everyone feel welcome.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to get into the inner circle of trust.
Sure.
Like the circle of trust is over here, and you're in the
Some
testing
people
zone.
are just
Testing
You're in the
zone.
Hunger Games.
You're in the Hunger Games.
I used to work for Blockbuster.
If that
I'm
tells
pop
you her age. Just kidding.
It's funny.
I love it.
But yeah, so I look for people that are connected to people I know and trust.
Yeah.
And then I will trust it more.
Yeah.
But it has to be a testing thing. Like we met
Yeah.
at an open house. We had heard of each other.
Yeah.
But I also liked her energy.
Yes.
Because us ADHD ladies,
We're like,
we,
bing,
we
bing, bing,
no, yeah, when we can ping off each other, I'm like, okay.
It was great.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So we met at. Well, not gonna say the venue.
No, I don't want
We
to.
we met at an open house that we were invited to. I was there doing hair and makeup. Not there,
It's
but
not
you know what I'm
this
saying.
podcast.
Yes.
So anyways, long story short, we were like, hey, we both feel like we don't want to pay for a mentor yet, but we
Yes.
feel like we need to have a community of people. So we were gonna basically do like a round table, but then like it didn't work out. So it was just
Well,
us,
the
and I
other
was like,
people sort of flamed out because
Of
we're
course.
intense and
Yeah.
which I get. And
Yeah.
a lot of people do not want to be
they're happy where they
Content.
are.
content.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they
I
don't want
see.
to put in the work. So if like we brought up our P&Ls,
Yeah,
Good.
we went
And that's
through.
what you got to do. You're like,
Money
here's on the
freaks people
table.
out.
Oh, and
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Christine's not going to go and blast my business anyway, so it's not like it
No.
matters. So I was like, okay, look, these are my numbers, and like, this is where it's really sucking. This is where it's good.
Yeah.
Where do I suck, and where am I good? And I did not get my feelings hurt because I needed someone that could see it from the outside perspective that wasn't
Yeah.
my husband. That could be like, okay, yeah, you kind of suck here. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. How do I fix this? And she
Right.
helped me, and
Yep.
like, she helped me with my social media for a little bit, and we
Yep.
traded services, and
Yep.
like, we just like made it work until we just got too damn busy and it
Yeah.
just couldn't work anymore. But like,
Yeah.
I think it really helped just both of us grow in different ways that we needed without having to pay somebody else to tell us what to do, which
And
was
that
really
gave
nice.
me the time to save up money to afford who I'm working with right now.
I'm not
Yeah.
a coach, so I'm just
Yeah.
a girl.
Yeah, we would give each other ideas to help level each other up.
Yeah. And the fact that you didn't get offended was great because like
No.
I'm gonna tell you and you're gonna tell me exactly what you're feeling,
I think
and I'm
it's a
like,
sign of respect.
"Ooh."
If you're passive aggressive, I think that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want you to tell me.
Like it's
Yeah.
here, it's
I'm
gonna
the same way.
come out
I
here.
don't. If I
the
don't
same
know,
way.
I can't fix it.
Yeah.
There's
Like,
no
if you're-
filter.
Yeah, if you filter yourself, I can't fix it. I'm going to continue to offend you, and I won't know it
Yeah.
because I'm not like.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a
So it
little bit
worked.
of a bull in a china shop.
Yeah.
Like,
It is what
I
it
got
is.
that feedback when I was a retail manager. They're like, softer. And I'm like, no.
This is not my place. Y'all are not my people.
I
Bye.
don't know how.
Yeah.
I can sing at you and try and deliver it in a nice way like that, but like it's still.
You know, I think that does help some
It
people.
does,
They're
yeah.
like,
People are like, oh.
I do it on wedding days, like during family portraits. I'm
Can
like,
you hurry
everyone
the
line
fuck
up and be
up?
quiet. And I'll sing, and they're like, "Oh, she's nice." I'm like, "I'm not."
I'm trying not to yell at you.
Exactly. So I'll sing it at you.
Hilarious.
And thankfully, I used to be in choir, so people are like, "Oh my God, you've got a great singing voice." I'm like, "Thank you. Sit down."
Yeah.
Sit
Listen.
down.
Yes.
Just kidding. I love it. So yeah, vendor relationships are important.
Yeah, no,
you
they're
know?
so important.
are.
But it's hard to find people that you jive with.
Yep.
That just get it.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it's.
Because it creates your spider web. I really do find like the wedding industry is a spider web, and it's who you know. And if you slowly add in different connections, you can pull on certain strings, and you're suddenly meeting people you've never met before, and it opens new doors for you, and it helps you grow your business. Which is why I like being at networking meetings and meeting new people, and being on the WIPA board for Houston. Like it's all helping me create my spider network.
And honestly, I will say, so like networking, we met at a networking event a long time ago.
Yeah.
Which was, it was okay, right? It fizzled
At
off.
that time. Yeah.
It was good for the time, and
Right.
it fizzled off, and I was like, I've outgrown this. I've outgrown the people here, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, I haven't found anything that I like since then. And then WIPA came along, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
This is the level that I'm trying to be at. These are the people that are playing on the same playing field. Let's go. And it's been like, good.
Yeah.
So far. We'll see.
Yeah.
But like the relationships I've made and like the people who are, the referrals I'm getting is crazy.
Yep.
Like people can afford my pricing. They don't gawk at it. Like it's just been really nice.
Yeah. It's very nice.
So, I think just finding the people that you jive with.
Yes.
And just being you, honestly,
Because
that's who you attract. Like
your vibe is going to attract your tribe.
Yep.
And you will weed out the people who are dishonest or
in it just for the money.
Like there's some mean girls in the industry.
Oh, there
and
are.
I don't have time. I used to work for Blockbuster. We know that I'm not in like my early 30s, so it's fine.
Like we don't have.
I don't have time. I don't have time for that. I feel like when the younger me was just like, I can put up with some bullshit.
Agreed.
But I hit.
There's
I hit
no room for
fuck
that.
it so long ago. I was like, I bless and release. I'm like, it was
Yeah.
really great getting to know you, but we're just not aligned, and it's
I
okay.
think
And
that
I think you're going to do great with the people that you have.
Yeah.
I think that comes with growth personally, also time in business.
Yes.
You realize that you're not going to get anywhere if you keep foot in your mouth. You just got to move on and like find the people.
Because they're out there.
They are.
They're out there. You shouldn't waste your energy and time on just BS. Like you should just keep
and again,
looking.
that's why I like
it's a scarcity
networking
mindset
events.
too, though. Like if you're like, okay, well, these are the only people that I've worked with, and I don't know anyone else. And what if I drop the ball on this and I don't have new work, or like all those thoughts, right?
All the entrepreneurs, we start to freak out. We have those intrusive
when you're
thoughts.
transitioning. Like we talked about this last time. It was like you're changing and everything is falling apart in your life, but then it's all coming back together in a new way.
Yeah.
So it's like that transition phase is so hard.
It is.
You're like, wait, everything I know is gone, and now it's all new stuff, and I don't know what I'm doing. Like it's just.
And I sometimes feel like when I'm manifesting things, the universe sometimes takes it too far. Because I just wanted to manifest abundance and like the new direction for my business. Yeah. And then the universe was like, bam, bam, bam. Well, I also decided to throw into the mix
some personal things.
Some personal stuff. So all of this other stuff is going to change at this exact same time that your business is changing.
Yep.
And
whole life.
Everything.
Cool.
Yeah. Everything.
I can handle this. It's busy season. Trying to get through like all of.
I should have known that too. That it's like when everything's ramping up, busy season, you're like,
it
like
really is.
everything.
And this has been all of 2024 for me. It started in March, and it just had 2024 was just like I did not pull a punch. Everything has just been.
We're full speed.
Full speed ahead.
So
many throttles, and I'm just.
It's like, where's the gas? Where's the fuel, please?
I'm just trying to just catch my breath, and I'm just like, fine, I guess this is just what it is, and I just have to figure it out.
Live in it.
And I liken it to just taking a step off of a ledge, falling, and I just figure it out as I fall, and I know my strengths enough that I'm always able to find a parachute and land gracefully.
Yeah.
But, damn. That parachute
When is it gonna
finding.
open?
Yes.
He's got to hold it. Like, are we good?
Yes.
Maybe during Christmas, then maybe there'll just be a little bit of peace, and I can just settle into my new normal.
Yeah.
Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my whole new life is coming, and I know it.
That's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
It's going to be good. Okay.
We all have a lot of change going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but like for
Good.
me, it's all good, right? And it's a little scary, just like you said. You're
So
like, this is not
What I'm used to.
what we're just being slammed, like slammed. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I shouldn't have expected anything else because I don't want the life that I had.
Yeah.
I want something bigger and better, and I'm going to help so many more people.
That's exactly
And
it.
I'm like, this has to be a transition. It's that birthing process. You know what I mean? Like birthing something new. And it's just like, okay,
And those
there's
labor pains.
girl.
She knows.
Yes.
I only know a little bit.
Yeah.
I just sometimes am like, why couldn't this epiphany that I had in March have happened before I moved into that house? Like, just, it felt like the universe was showing me something beautiful, and now it's like laughing at me, and it's just like, ha rip.
I get that.
But I'll be moving.
Oh, you'll be moving?
I asked for a divorce,
Oh, you did?
so
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
it's
Unfortunate.
just, yeah.
You'll laugh about this in a couple years.
Yes.
Not today, but in a couple years.
Yeah.
But
That's hard.
I just really saw very clearly in March what exactly was happening with my mental health. And I just knew that I needed to be on my own. And so I
Made the decision.
made the decision.
Yeah.
And so now we're just in the process of selling the house. And at the same time of busy season, same time new website, same time getting into the education space.
It's a lot.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Check.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love it. That's what you should say. Man, I love where I'm at right now.
I do love where I'm at, and I constantly tell the universe, tell me how good it can get. Just show me.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm ready.
it's scary though.
I know that this is just the painful part, and but I can see the end. I see that tunnel, and I see the light, and I know what that light looks like, and it's going to be peace. It's going to be really knowing who I am. It's going to be leveling up. It's going to be all the things. Like I can feel it. I'm a very intuitive person, and I know what's coming, and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I just
Getting there. Yeah.
get there.
You just got to walk it out.
Gotta walk
just
it
keep
out.
walking.
Just-
Keep walking. That's all you can do is just walk.
Yep.
Yep. One step after the other.
Yeah.
Trust me, girl. I know. I don't know where I'm at, but I'm going to just take another step.
You know, like when you're trying to find your water cup on your like nightstand, and you're like, it's dark, and you're like, I might knock this over, or I might grab it, and then it's like,
You're like, son of a nutcracker.
and then you get up and you're like, wow, my nightstand's so clean now.
You're right.
It's that moment, you're like, this
This
worked
needed to
out.
happen. Yeah.
Cool. She's so sparkly.
I can't tell you how many times that's happened. Actually, I'm like, shit, where's the towel? I need to just get a cup with like a lid on it.
Right.
Yes. But have you? No.
No,
Why
I'm
ADHD?
good.
Right.
It's not in your head.
Yeah.
That's fine. Everything's fine. It all works out.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then my nightstand gets a real good deep cleaning every
Real
once
good.
in a while. It's fine.
That's
Anyways.
awesome.
So other than all the things, like what? So many questions. Okay, you're transitioning from. Well, you're not going to fully transition away from weddings, are you?
No.
You're going to still do that, and then you're
I
also
love
going to do
love. That
education.
sounds cheesy. I hate that. I actually take it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
He can edit that in, right?
I know. I think that's actually hilarious. I love my couples, and I love seeing really gross, disgusting displays of affection.
I don't.
I love it
actually.
when they're.
I hate it.
Really. It's so
Like, that's private.
inspiring. It's so inspiring when they're just like they can't get enough of each other.
It is cute.
When they dance with each other all night. When they just can't stop stealing glances. I'm like, you give me hope.
The like little smirk. They're like, I do love
I
you.
know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. Like, I want all of the disgustingly in love couples.
Okay.
They set my soul on fire.
See, we don't see that part of it.
Yeah, we don't.
We see the, oh shit, this is happening, or like, I need a drink, or I'm sweating, or I forgot to shave my leg, or like, you know,
my
that side of
personality.
things.
And we're like, okay, here you go. Yeah.
Because I've worked with them for like a good 8 months, if not longer, I can walk into a room and really like absorb their anxiety and just get them like excited for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all do that. Like, y'all just come in, they're like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's starting. I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, we have been starting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I did your whole morning, but it's
and I unironically sing at them in an excitement, not to tame them to sit down. I'm just like, let's go.
Okay, do you have
and
any,
they're like, yes.
Do you have any tips on like how to transition from hair and makeup to photos for like makeup artists? I mean, obviously timeline, we've talked about this with other people, like being ready at least 2 to 2.5, maybe 3 hours before ceremony time. First look, like all of that fun stuff. Like, how does your relationship with hair and makeup play out the day of the wedding?
When I was a lower price point, I would arrive and pray.
That's fair. That's very fair. Because, you just never know what you're going to walk into.
But now I do weddings with, like, I would say 90% have planners.
Perfect.
Planners
I love
are
that. Yes.
The best money you'll ever spend.
Yes.
Planners are majestic.
Yes.
They help all of us work together as a team.
They
Unless
really
they
do.
suck. And I don't know a lot that suck.
No.
Like, I'm so blessed that I get to work with amazing planners. And so they're able to communicate with you to know when, like, the ideal time. And so I feel like the planner and y'all help couples and brides understand, because this is their first rodeo usually. They don't know how long things are going to take, and so you help them mentally understand how the day is going to roll out, so that way when I arrive, we're all ready at, Christine can just get the last little details of lips and setting spray, which I love those photos. I loved the setting spray ones, turning them into black and white.
Oh yeah,
because you can see like so I feel like the ingredient is the planner. I feel like if there's no planner, then who's making that timeline? And
your makeup artist.
Your makeup artist, it's up to them.
And if they don't know.
Yes. And then what if your bride doesn't really believe how long things will take because you don't have the backup of the planner being like, no, they're speaking the truth.
Yeah.
And then they're oh, okay. Yeah. Like, they don't understand, so they're going to fight you a little more on the timeline.
Yeah.
And they're going to ask for things that are unrealistic, and then you already start off behind schedule when I'm arriving, and then I'm looking at the timeline and I think to myself, well, what can I do right now to give them time, because I'm
like, what
not
can I
trying
go
to be in your face
and
being like nasty, but I'm just more like, okay, it's just time to pivot. Because all of this has to get done today, so what can I go off and do to not be obnoxious?
Right. And I love that you're considerate of that too, because it's the worst when a photographer or a planner or somebody comes in and like, well, are you going to be done? What, are we talking like 10 minutes? Or are we talking 5 minutes? And then the bride is
stressed as hell.
And then you can feel it in the room, and it's just
like building.
Yeah.
I don't want to make the bride absorb that anxiety.
Right.
Yeah.
My questions are more like, what is the ballpark, just so I know, because I'm going to go off and do this.
Yes.
And I'll come back.
Yeah, and I'll
when
come back.
can I come back to get like the final photos of like the spritz, dabby dab?
Yeah.
That way it doesn't feel like it's pressure and anxiety. It just feels more like, hey, we're just communicating.
Yes.
And that way she can just sit there and feel like nothing's happening when things are happening.
Right.
But it's fine.
Right.
How do you deal with like trying to educate your clients on like timeline, because you're the whole freaking day, right? Like, how do you do that and without stressing out your clients, and you're like, hey, this is kind of what we're thinking for day of, like, I'm gonna need you here at these times, shot list, like the whole shebang as far as orchestrating that, because if it's messed up from hair and makeup, you have to readjust.
Yeah, talk about pivot. Like, we're pivot princesses.
Yes.
So is there ways for you to move things around to where you can still follow like your timeline at the end of the day?
just go to the guys.
Yeah, that was my
it's
thought.
It's like the secret sauce.
Like,
if
why the girls are
ladies
finishing.
are taking too long, boom. all of the getting ready with the guys, all of the groomsmen photos. I get all of that knocked out.
Smart.
How's the reception space looking? Can I take some detail photos? I've had hair and makeup run being a full hour behind because the hair and makeup artist was a friend of the bride, and so they didn't have the context that you don't talk and stop throughout this. Like you're just supposed to work so you can stay on the timeline. And so I just went to the planner and said, hey, I'm going to go do this because this was later, so we can just shift this up. And then I'll go look at the reception space because I know that this is going to move this down, which means I may not have time to do this later. And so that's what happened. And then it's like Lego. You just take out a few blocks and you just move them. Jenga, and it's still standing, and you still got it done.
Good.
And yes, but it's truly like when I'm talking to couples in advance of the wedding, it's really hard for them to visualize because they're used to having like going to the bathroom takes me 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 5 if I'm on my cell phone.
Not when you're in a dress.
Exactly, but they can't, even when you tell them, they can't conceptualize it.
Right. They're like, 5 minutes. No, honey, that's going to take 15. Because you're going to get stopped 2 times on the way to the bathroom.
Exactly. And everyone wants your energy that day because you're the star. And so I've created a PDF that I send to all of my brides and couples discussing timelines from a photography standpoint and why things take so long. And sometimes I'll send them an email that includes like timestamps of how long it took to get dress photos so they can really absorb how long things take.
And I bet your like type A brides are like,
Yes.
Because I might be creative and ADHD and like a butterfly and la la la. But I also used to be a store manager, and I have a really organized type A part of me that really shines on a wedding day and before the wedding day. And that's why people love me, is because I can be in my element photographing and being like creative and your best friend and like excited, but I will also make sure that every single building block and foundation has been made to get us to that point. Because I don't play, and I don't want 5 minutes of couples portraits, and I will fight tooth and nail to be like that. Like this is the amount of family formals we can take, and that's it. You cannot ask your third cousin twice removed to be in these photos. Like, we can't do that. Maybe on the dance floor. But no. No. I love you.
Do you get
Enneagram 8.
pushback from like planners if like your shot list is insanely long and you're like, look, I need like 2 hours for photos or something, like between ceremony and like reception? Does that ever happen, or you get most of it like pre-ceremony?
It depends. Okay, so if the couple's doing a first look, which I really, 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 really recommend. Because the emotional reaction you're going to have in the ceremony is still the same. It does not change because you are surrounded by everyone who loves you. The ceremonies are the reason why I fell in love with weddings. Everyone you love is in there staring at you, both of you. You two lock eyes,
and it's like,
and I'm getting like I've got goosebumps. It is so romantic. It is so beautiful.
It's like a fairy tale.
Everyone feels this moment. You know what's being created here, and it's a whole new family, and you don't know where their road is going to lead, but you are in so much support, and you feel it. That first look is just going to help you calm down your nerves because you're in love with this person, and if you're separated from them during the anxious part of the day, that means that some of your photos are going to look more anxious, and you're going to have RBF because you didn't let yourself relax and see your person. I even love the trends these days of
that's
couples
a really good way to say that. That makes so much sense. I've never heard it that way.
I literally can tell you that couples who see each other, because guys also get anxious and they don't really like showing emotion,
and they're like,
so they're like a locked up fridge,
and their shoulders are like to their
glass cage, and like and I'm like, but they see their partner, and all of a sudden everything you can feel everything wash through the floor, and they're so relaxed. They're so giddy. They love them. Their person looks like the most beautiful version of themselves. Like they're instantly like melting, and then like the whole rest of the day is easy.
That's cool.
I love that.
And if I have those couples who are gross in love, like that moment is just so good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, the tenderness. I don't
Or
have
when
to
they do like
much.
a first touch and not even like a first look, and they're just like,
It's-
even
even if first touch is acceptable, but honestly, seeing each other,
Yeah.
being able to hug each other, there's
Yeah.
something, we know this, there's science behind hugging persons and what happens
anxiety,
to
yeah.
you inside. It regulates your body. Your
Yeah.
stress leaves you.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So hugging your person before you walk down the aisle and all this anticipation is just, it's so great.
Okay, I have something to say about that because like when I first started doing hair and makeup and I would not know how to schedule things, I was there for a couple of those moments for people and I was like, I should not be here. Like it was, I was like trying.
Be the hair and market person, makeup person who on TikTok went viral. You don't want to be that.
First off, I would never.
Content
I would
creator all day.
never. And second, no. And second, I was like, they were doing their first touch at the door of the bridal suite, and I was like trying to leave, and so I was just standing there with my fucking bag, and I'm like, I have to fucking go, but I am not ruining this moment. So I'm just like standing there, like sweating, like, okay, and they're like having their special moment, and I'm like,
yeah. You should be gone long.
I should have been gone. Like she was dressed, he was dressed, everybody's crying. The bridesmaids are over here. I'm like in the corner trying to hide. The photographer and the videographer are like, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I'm like, I'll never ever put myself in that situation. Not only for me, but for the bride. I'm like, I shouldn't be here. This is so special, and I'm just some girl she hired for makeup. Like this, I mean, not really, but
yeah,
I am though. Like, she don't know me
in
like
that moment. You're not supposed to.
Like with all of her best friends and her mom and her auntie and her grandma.
Yes, you're not like
I'm not the one.
Level.
I'm not the one that should be there.
Yeah.
Like, it was awkward. So that's why I'm like, you guys need to be. And when I tell people like 3 hours before ceremony time, they're like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, 100%.
Yes.
And then I go into explaining like, okay, your photographer's gonna show up. This person's gonna show up. They're gonna ask you a bunch of questions.
Yes.
They're gonna want this. I'm like, do you really want to be getting your hair and makeup done at that point? And then I need to be gone, and all of my ugly stuff needs to be gone by the time you're getting. But like. All my shit should not be in your photos.
I
like
don't disagree.
Dirty brushes and this and
I do the
curling
artistic, pretty photos of your shit.
Yeah.
Sure. But like most of it's cleaned up at that point.
Yeah.
Touche.
Not the disaster's not there. Like I had picked up the disaster and we're like touch up photos, you know? So I just I think when you tell people and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
Because they've never done this before.
And that's the other thing. It's like we really have to get started at 10 in the morning
like,
or
what?
9 or 8 or whatever.
Yes,
and you're
ma'am.
like, yes, absolutely. And then by the time we're halfway done, they're like, oh my gosh, this is flying by. It's already 12. It's already 1.
And they start
you're
freaking
like,
out.
Yeah. And I'm like, see what I mean? I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
Well, and I don't think people have ever like had an event to that caliber, right?
No.
Yeah,
So most
true.
of these people have never attended an event at this caliber, been in an event of this caliber. Like weddings are super luxurious, and the price points that we're at, like they are huge events.
It's a production.
It's a huge production, and so they're like, I don't know. Like I just show up, and I'm like, this is not like getting ready to go to a dinner date.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
this is next level
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
And like we have to make sure that people understand that, and then realize that this is way more than just like getting ready.
Yeah.
Like type deal.
And I'm almost at the thought pattern because I know that sometimes when I send the PDF, it can be a lot of words and it's overwhelming.
Jarring, yeah.
I'm almost at the point where I might just start videotaping all of this information as well, for depending on what kind of learner you are.
Right.
That's so smart.
However you
That's what
absorb
we're doing.
information, this is how I would like to present it to you. So here's a PDF if you're a reader,
Yeah.
and then here is a video of me. Just
Genius.
It's like Harry Potter. I'm just going to open it up,
Yeah.
and I will read you my
Should
PDF.
we get a PowerPoint too? No,
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. We were talking
Green
with Carrie.
screen.
Yeah.
We were talking with Carrie about how like friends get together and they do a PowerPoint of.
I
like,
think that's
business.
hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, this is actually because people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, a lot. And they're like, what do you mean?
lot.
That they think. So everyone at my husband's job thinks that I do Brazilian waxing all day, and I was like, that's literally like this of my life.
Yes.
And they're like, you're buying a salon, and I'm like, I'm actually the shit. Thank you so much. Like I don't talk about it, but yes, thank you. Like they really thought I just like played with makeup, and I'm like, that's really
Because
cute.
people don't know. I've had one of
cute.
My aunt.
I don't
idea.
get offended anymore because I'm like, you guys just don't understand.
I did.
in
like,
that, I'm the same
I
way.
used to get so pissed, and I'm like, these people don't understand all I'm doing.
All my
and
hard
I'm
work, yeah.
so good. I'm, like big headed.
Yeah.
But
One of
now I don't care.
my aunts asked me how my little business was doing, and
My little business pays
do you
my
want to
bills.
know how,
And it can pay your bills.
fire that put into me?
Yeah.
The next year I doubled my revenue.
You're like, I'm gonna show
like
you.
little business what?
Yeah.
Eat it.
Yeah. No, that's happened to
Suck
me
it
too.
up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
Sorry, I'm
happened to
too
me too.
busy. I'm a big deal.
So sorry,
I
do you
was
see my
published in
calendar?
People like go away.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to do a better job of like shoving it in people's faces, to be honest.
Well, also women are judged if we are too braggadocious.
Yeah, but like, would a man would.
No, that's exactly. I asked myself.
A man would.
Would a man be chastised for this? If the answer is no, then I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care.
Go for it.
Yep.
That was like the best piece of advice I ever heard from someone. She's like, well, would an
Yeah.
older white man do it? I'm
Exactly.
Like, yeah. Fair.
Yeah. Yeah. So you
Fair,
can
she would.
channel his audacious brain, and I will be identical.
I'm not going to say names, but I was talking to this
Oh,
girl
yeah.
who does hair and makeup, and she was like, because she is not an older white man, she's like the opposite of that, and she was like, well, when I send my emails and I'm afraid that someone's going to just reject this quote, the first thing I think was, how would an older white man word this? And she literally just, and I'm like, that's genius. And
Yep.
she was like, don't be afraid to
Yep.
be strong
Yeah.
and know that you're worth, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
just know that they're going to accept it because you are who you are. And
Exactly.
it was just really interesting, and I was like, okay.
If you sell leading with value,
Yeah.
then the money
That's the main
doesn't
thing.
become as much of an issue because you're showing them
But-
exactly the emotion behind the money.
Right.
Like,
You're
I'm
selling
probably
yourself,
What's the
really.
outcome that they're wanting? What's the experience that
Exactly.
they're wanting?
I'm gonna
It's an
be-
it's an emotional
I mean,
sell.
that's
one
what
of the last people that's going to photograph your grandparents looking
Yeah.
bougie
Yeah.
and beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
that you're going to have that photo for their funeral.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's
not
true.
to get too soft, but my wedding photographer, I used some of her photos when my godfather passed away.
Yeah.
And that was really
'Cause
hard.
how many times are you going to take really nice photos that are print worthy
Yeah,
of you and your
exactly.
grandparents?
You looking
Yeah.
And your
dressed up
mom.
with them.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's from your phone
Yeah.
at a
and-
dark lit dinner place, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's
No.
not-
And cell phones can't get to that level yet, especially in dark lit areas.
yeah,
Like,
no.
no. So the value is that I'm going to be giving you your heritage for your grandchildren.
Yeah.
This is a collective effort, beauty and
Yeah,
photos.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're going to make the look, and I'm going to deliver the product of your look.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have that forever.
Yeah.
A win-win.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think
Right.
when you place that value or you put that thought in their head, they're like, "Oh, you're right." Like they automatically see
Because
it.
it's true.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a sales tactic. It's
No.
like you really, that's how you really feel. And you
No.
know from experience.
Personal experience.
And
Yeah.
then other people's regrets. Like, I hear all the time, they're like, I really wish I would have hired someone for hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear it all the time.
Yeah, and
All the
you
time.
know, this is supposed to be the one and only, special day of your life.
yeah.
You know,
Maybe second or third.
regardless if it is or isn't, you're
Yeah.
going to remember how you felt that day, and then you're going to look back at those pictures. And so let me get your intake on this, because it's like there are some photographers out there that do not want to share their
don't get me started.
photos. Yeah.
No, we've had this
So like
conversation.
how do you go about that? Because it's like your photos wouldn't look amazing if it weren't for me doing hair and makeup,
Yeah.
So like why wouldn't you share
Mm-hmm.
the end results? Because it was a team effort.
My perspective is that we're a team.
Yeah.
That's not
So-
everyone's perspective.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But again, it comes back to your network,
Mm-hmm.
your spider web.
Yeah.
If you are not giving photos to the people who helped produce and make the wedding day what it was, then they're less likely to recommend you. Also, they're going to be sharing your work and tagging you on social media, which
Yeah.
gets you in front of other people,
Right, you're
which
not-
could get you a bride or a groom or whatever down the line.
Yeah.
And one hand shakes the other. I don't know. The only reason why I haven't sent certain galleries is maybe I wasn't proud of the work.
And you're like, I don't really want to share this.
I would prefer it if you didn't tag me in this, but I don't know how to communicate that.
Yeah. I had a photographer tell me that.
Because I'm not going to turn down a wedding just because it isn't exactly in line with my ideal client, because I like the people. But maybe they're choosing
it's not what I want
stylistic designs that are not something that I would like to show off.
Yeah.
And it's no fault of theirs. I love them. But there's a certain clientele that I'm trying to talk to. Right. So if you've included burlap and lace in your decorations,
it's not the one.
It's just not going to be something that shows up.
Right. Yeah.
But I still really loved working with you, and I think that your relationship is beautiful, and we had a great time together.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had that happen, and a photographer, she's great, and she totally pivoted. She was like 180 from the style she was doing to what she wants to do now. Completely, like everything flipped.
I remember.
Yeah. So
beautiful photos.
Photos.
Kills my soul.
And I'm just like, you're so freaking talented. So anyways, we posted photos and she's like, please don't tag me. Like, I don't, not that she didn't like the client relationship was great. These have been clients of mine for a really long time, years. But she was like, I just don't want to shoot that style anymore. And if you tag me, whoever's on your page and sees those, they're going to ask for me. And I don't want to do that kind of work anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and that's fair.
Like
maybe I should be more upfront when I send out these galleries to be like, hey.
Like, you're more than welcome to use these, just don't tag me.
Because a lot of them my verbiage when I send them out is, if you download it, you agree to these terms, which is you will tag me. If you're putting it on your website, you will link to my website. I provide my website link and everything. I don't have time to go double check this, so don't let this be permission to not do that. But I just, because backlinks also help your SEO, which also
100%.
helps you be found online, which helps shake your hand. Like, it's all, it's
that was that party we went to,
together.
The Party Slate, right?
Yeah.
We're name dropping. That's what they do, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is they help backlink and connect all these vendors together, and I was like, this is so genius. And like, it was so cool.
Yep.
So like all the back end work that you don't want to do but that you feel like is important for connecting with other vendors, and like when you're sharing stuff on Instagram and you're tagging all the people, like she has this whole system and where it's like backlinked and blogging and all the back end side of stuff, but specifically for the wedding industry. And I was like, this is so
cool.
genius.
I love that.
We went, what, yesterday? I don't know. What's today?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Time has no meaning.
Yep.
Okay.
It was this week. I slept in. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really, I do like sending out the galleries. The funny thing is that I'll send out galleries sometimes and I will never hear back from any of the vendors. I don't see them downloading it, but then they'll complain that they don't get them. I'm like, but I just, and then I internalize it and I'm like, oh, they didn't like my photos.
No.
Oh, no, that's usually, that won't be it.
And I'm like, oh,
do you email everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So then I just internalize it and it's fine.
Maybe it's going to junk. You don't know.
I know.
It might be.
And I don't have time to text everyone to be like, hey, check your email. I just, I'm only one person.
Yeah, fair enough.
One pony show instead of the pink pony show.
Yeah.
Funny. Okay, do you have a tip for like vendors when they're working with photographers? Like what's like your...
That's very broad.
Like...
Anything. It could be anything that you feel is really important that most everybody needs to know, every other vendor needs to know when working with photographers. Or even hair and makeup if you wanted to just be specific.
You can go any direction with this.
I know. It's overwhelming.
It's so broad. You can go anywhere.
Like, I need direction.
Credits going through my head. I would say be patient with how long a gallery takes to edit.
Oh, yeah.
Especially during busy season. Because, and especially if you're a photographer, which I think most of us are, have ADHD, going through and just culling, so picking all the photos to edit is absolutely, I have to, my dad would call it getting in the zone. I have to hyper-focus.
Yeah.
Well, I can't just magically make that happen.
No, right.
So I need grace.
On a Thursday.
Like if I have, so like take this wedding season, I have a wedding every weekend until the beginning of December. So I have a fresh wedding entering my queue.
That's crazy.
Every week.
That's a lot.
And so there's one day a week that I have to figure out how to get me into the zone.
Coffee.
That actually.
I'm just gonna.
No. Headphones. White noise.
Got it. Love
Yeah.
it.
Cats
have you
meowing,
listened to
music.
brown noise?
Brown,
Yes.
Brown noise is where it's at.
Or like there's one that's
'Cause you
like
don't even
sounds
hear
of a
it.
cafe. I'm like, cool.
Oh.
And sometimes I have to go to Starbucks
Yeah.
and put on headphones.
I'm the same way.
And I need like
Same
two
way.
The chaos
sounds.
is like, oh,
I
this feels
need-
right.
Yeah.
Even when
but
I
it's
was
not my chaos,
studying
so
in
I can do this.
university, I would have to go to a cafe to focus on the book. Because
Yeah.
I couldn't absorb what they were trying to teach me, and people were like, "How can you not do it in a library?" And I'm like, "How do you
This
do
is
it
not
in
how
a
my brain
library?
works!"
It's so quiet. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Yes.
How do you focus on the words? I would read the same
Yeah.
passage like 5 times.
Yeah, I'm
And I'm like,
same. Girl,
it's not
same.
sinking in.
yeah.
So
They got drugs for that, but
yeah.
I need patience because
Yeah.
I'm honestly doing my best,
Yes.
and
it's art.
It's
It is art. Yep.
You can't rush art.
Cannot, because I'm looking for those nuanced faces, the emotion,
Yeah.
and then I have to edit it all.
Yeah.
Now, God bless AI,
Yeah.
because it has really helped me in the past year and a half. I used to have an editor, and she was wonderful, but then Imagine AI came out, and that is just supercharged my back end.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Because you have to load like 3,000 edited photos for it to learn your style.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then as you edit more and more, you can feed it your galleries, and so it learns you even better.
That's so cool.
It better not turn into Skynet, because that's a problem. But right now, just edit my photos.
Love
Don't turn on me.
Funny.
So, but like the more I edit, the more it learns, the better my photos look, the faster my turnaround
I
time
love
is.
that.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's a tool.
Such a
tool.
great
Yeah.
tool.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's still, there's still steps, because I think I touch photos like 4 times before I deliver them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Going through, choosing, sending it off to Imagine, looking through it, deciding for sure if I like it, nitpicking. And then while I'm doing that, I make a list on the side of things. I'm looking for things to edit out and to remove. And so I've got my list. And so then I look for those photos and I go into Photoshop, because Lightroom is good, but it's not great at removing things. It's constantly getting better. But Photoshop is just so much more powerful. And then, because my second shooter and I, even though we'll sync our cameras, theirs is always off slightly. So when I'm renaming all of the files, it has to go, because I got my gallery back and it was just all over the place, and that I can't.
Yeah. That's
I
rough.
need it in chronological order. It makes me feel insane.
Yeah.
But so then I
Like,
make myself insane renaming all of these photos.
Wow.
So it goes in chronological order, and I know that not all these photographers do it, but I cannot not do it.
Yeah.
That's just how I
I
operate.
have to do it.
Yeah.
So that way when they get it, I can easily put it into the different categories
That's
and
so cool.
pick time. So it's a nice, beautiful
It's a story,
choreographed
yeah.
dance
Yeah.
that makes it
Story.
easier to go through. And so when they download it, all the numbers are in sync, so it stays the same in their folders. And I'm really trying to
I'm
think
sure
about
they
that back
appreciate
end.
that.
It's a
Yeah.
part of like my white glove service. I just need it to be seamless and perfect for
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
as much as I can do it.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So wrapping up, is there anything else that I want to touch on before we head out? No?
Well, I'm getting into the education space.
Okay.
Get that plug in there, girl.
Yeah.
What? So I'm going to be starting to teach photographers, videographers, and content creators
Okay.
how to pose couples in larger bodies.
Okay.
I think this is great for hair and
Yay.
makeup too.
I love that.
Yeah, because
If you're posed properly and you're looking at the camera, you look good.
I
Yeah,
love
And
that.
if you're like a
yeah,
mugshot, nobody
if
wants
you're
to
just
see that.
dead ass looking at the camera,
Yeah.
and you've got like
It's a no.
people who
They're
exist
gonna
in
be like,
larger bodies, as a
"See
person
that?"
who exists in a larger body,
Yeah.
I understand more than other people can about what we are self-conscious about. And I want to teach people how to not pose people in a way that it looks like you hate them.
Yeah.
There's so much, I have so much content to illustrate how
Not
much of
too
a
much.
disservice media people are doing
Oh, yeah.
to plus size couples. But it's
Yeah.
more than just media. I want to start like getting into speaking. I want to get touring like the US and even beyond, and discussing different ways that the wedding industry just completely ignores plus size people.
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
not even in their brain when it comes to clothing, when it comes to seating. There's
Yeah.
just so much that we are just completely ignored on. And I have thoughts like, I go to a wedding, I'm larger, I look at that white folding chair and I think,
Yeah.
will that break on me?
That's sad.
And
you
I
have
don't
to
want
think
to
about
feel like that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, like, if I'm at a table and maybe it's there's 10 people at this table, I always have to turn sideways because I don't fit. And people don't think about that.
Wow.
And I think it's close to 70%. I think it's like 63 or 67% of people in the United States exist in larger bodies.
I believe it.
Yeah, I believe that too.
But we're just acting like we're in a straight-sized world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't
And it's crazy to me.
compute.
Yeah.
So I have a workshop January 22nd
Okay.
at Briscoe Manor, and I will be teaching media how to pose
I'm excited.
couples
I love
in a
that.
way that makes them look beautiful.
Awesome.
And to give them a style shoot, because we'll be practicing.
So fun.
So there'll
love
be
that.
education, and then there's going to be 3 different style shoots with 3 different couples so you can practice
You
what
can
we've
create
been
that content.
discussing.
That's awesome.
Get that content. It's going to be something that most plus size people get, like the leftovers, because they're not considered as highly. And so it's
Yeah.
going to be very high end fashion. It's going to be very
love it.
editorial. It's going to be
gonna be
something
so
you would
much
see in
fun.
Vogue.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
love that.
going to have those plus size couples in it.
I love it.
Because straight size couples are the only people who've ever been invited into that space.
Oh, wow.
That's true though.
It is true. It's
Anytime
so
I've ever
few
done a
and
style
far between.
shoot, they look like
size
models.
They're
minus
models. They are
5,
models.
yeah.
Usually.
Runway looking models.
Yeah.
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 No
Yep.
curves.
Yep. Yes.
With
So-
extensions and Botox and
Yeah.
all the
Yeah. So I've got like influencers that I've been in touch with because they understand their body. They've been in front of the camera and they know how to do things, and so they're going to be a part of it. But also there's a modeling company that has plus size models,
cool.
so I'm going to have both.
Awesome.
But all of them know how to use their body, but I'm going to want them, we'll give them a pep talk to be difficult that day.
Yeah.
You're
Perfect.
like,
and that's where
like
you
don't
learn.
know.
I
Yeah.
need them
Yeah.
That's where they learn.
That's so
Yes.
Because if it's difficult, you're growing, you're learning.
Yeah.
You know, that is awesome. So you said January 22nd.
22nd.
At
Yeah,
Briscoe,
Briscoe
Manor.
Manor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're going to have this all on your, is it on your Instagram? And
As soon as my new website comes
okay,
out.
yes,
So like
the website.
I know.
But mark your
Yeah.
calendars. Mark your calendars for
Yeah,
January
and if you-
22nd.
Yeah, because I'll be selling it through my Shopify. So if someone wants
Cool.
to buy a ticket before it even goes live, I'm cool with it. I can back end it.
Okay, cool.
Nice. She's like, I
Came out
can DM you. I love it. That's awesome.
Well, thank you for
Thank you.
coming and sharing. And I absolutely love this session, this episode. It's wonderful, and you're a wonderful person.
Thank
So
you.
I,
It was a pleasure.
Of course, yeah. Can't wait till next time.
Yeah. Yay.
All right. Well,
Peace.
Everybody's
That was good.
Yeah, that was great.